French pastry doesn't have to be complicated. Let me show you why. This is Clafoutis, a perfect example.
When making clafoutis, we'll start by combining the cream and the milk in a saucepan. In this recipe I use more cream than milk, and there's a good reason for it. It gives the clafoutis a much creamier texture. If you use more milk instead, the result will be much closer to a flan or a crème pâtissière. This way you'll get exactly the consistency we're looking for. So give the cream and the milk a quick stir together and start heating them gently. Add 1 whole vanilla bean. I'll use my favorite thumb and knife technique to scrape out all the seeds. Add every single one to the cream and milk, and then drop the pot in as well. Keep stirring while you gently heat everything to about 60 degrees Celsius. Honestly, the easiest way to tell is simply with your hand. When it starts feeling just a little uncomfortable, you're right around 60 degrees Celsius. And that's the moment to turn the heat off. We don't want to boil the milk or the cream. We just want them to warm enough for the vanilla to infuse properly. Cover the saucepan immediately with plastic wrap or a lid if you prefer. The goal is simply to trap all those beautiful vanilla aromas and let them slowly infuse into the cream and milk. Then just leave it alone and let it do its job. While that's happening, we'll prepare our dry ingredients. Mix the sugar and the salt together first, then sift in the flour. I always sift the flour directly into the sugar. It removes any little lumps you don't want and helps distribute the flour much more evenly. Give everything a quick mix so the flour separates nicely between the sugar crystals. It might seem like a small step, but it really helps reduce lumps later on. Now let's prepare the eggs. Clafoutis actually uses quite a lot of them, 6 in this recipe, so try to use the best eggs you can find. Crack them on a flat surface rather than the edge of the bowl. It gives you much better control and helps keep little shell fragments out. Add the eggs to the flour and sugar mixture and start mixing everything together slowly. Because we already combined the flour with the sugar, the mixture comes together much more easily. If you added the eggs straight into plain flour, you'd end up with lots of stubborn lumps almost immediately. Take your time here. You want the flour to absorb the eggs properly while everything comes together into one smooth, homogeneous mixture. Just like this. If you still have a few tiny lumps, don't worry about it. We'll finish everything with an immersion blender in just a moment anyway. Now remove the vanilla pot from the cream and milk and use tweezers to remove any seeds still left inside. And what should you do with that used vanilla pot? I'll show you in one of my next videos. Please don't just throw it into a jar of sugar or even worse, throw it away. There are much better ways to use it and we'll talk about that soon. The cream and milk don't need any more heating now. Simply start pouring them into the egg, sugar, flour and salt mixture while stirring continuously. As everything comes together, you already see all those beautiful vanilla seeds throughout the mixture. Don't be shy with the vanilla and don't be shy with the cherries either. That's exactly what makes a great clafoutis. Once everything has been combined, finish the mixture with an immersion blender. It removes any remaining clumps, but more importantly, it emulsifies the eggs, cream, milk and flour into one perfectly smooth batter. That's exactly the base we're looking for. Then, place it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes to rest. While the batter is resting, let's prepare the pie dish. I'm using a ceramic pie dish because it distributes heat much more gently, which is perfect for clafoutis. We don't want it to bake too aggressively. If you're using a metal pan instead, I'd recommend baking a little more gently because metal transfers heat much faster. Otherwise, the clafoutis can easily end up a bit dry, and that's definitely not what we're after. We want a beautiful creamy texture. Simply butter the entire dish, making sure every corner is covered. If you'd like a little extra sweetness, you can dust it with powdered sugar as well, but it's completely optional. As you already know, I prefer desserts with less sugar, so for me, butter is all I need. Now for the cherries. These cherries are from this year's harvest. They've already been frozen and pitted. If you're looking for even more flavor, I'd actually recommend leaving the pits in. They'll get in the way a little while eating, of course, but they do add a little extra flavor if you don't mind them. Pour the rested batter over the cherries. Mine have frozen together into some smaller blocks, so I just separate them a little to spread them evenly throughout the dish. As you can see, the dish is filled almost right to the top, which gives us a beautiful tall clafoutis once it's baked. Bake until the center still have a gentle wobble. That's exactly what we're looking for. Then let it cool and refrigerate it overnight. And that's it. All that's left is to cut yourself a slice and enjoy that incredibly creamy center with those lightly baked edges. The vanilla, the cherries, just look at the texture. It's absolutely beautiful. Give it a try. It's one of the simplest French classics I know. Enjoy it, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.